What's up, everybody? I'm Josh Meek, the Uber Geek. Welcome to Pretty Dece, your daily entertainment and pop culture show. Today on the show, we're going to talk about comic books because there was a thing that was announced this week that is potentially going to be a big shakeup in how you purchase your physical comic books. So Diamond Comics, which is really the only name in comic book distributors. You know, there are lots of different comic book publishers, but there's one main company that has a monopoly on the distribution of those comics to all of the individual comic shops that are scattered throughout this country. That is Diamond Comics. They announced a new system called Pullbox this week. Now, Pullbox is essentially replacing the idea that it would replace the system that is currently going on in your local game and comic shop, where you tell them what comics you want, they pull those comics aside for you, you go in every week and you pay for those comics. That's generally a concept that is around in most comic shops called a pull list. And sometimes these things at the larger shops are very formal. Maybe there's an online portal where you are adding things to your pull list. You can track it online, you can see what's been filled. But most of the time, they're just a verbal thing where the cashier will write down what you want, or at best, you'll hand in a list once a month or so for them to grab the comics for you. And it is kind of a very analog, a very pen and paper type of deal. And it's very specific to that particular comic book retailer, and it's very important that, of course, you show up once a month to actually turn in those orders, and of course you show up weekly to pay for those books and pick them up as it comes out. For the diehard comic fans, that old system works great. They're really good at, keeping up on their orders and showing up at the shop all the time. But of course, that is still a lot of work, that whole pull list system. And Diamond wants to kind of update that and bring it into the 21st century with what they're calling Pullbox. And it's essentially that exact same system, but now cloud-based online. So just like you are ordering comics from, Amazon or anything like that, you create a little cart of what you want as it's coming out. You create your pull list. You can do pre-orders, you can do graphic novels that are coming out, any of the other kind of merchandise that they're shipping and distributing through Diamond. And then you apply that to essentially your local shop. So you'll be able to search for your local comic shop, say, yes, this is my local shop, and then the things that you order will go to your local shop. So you can say, hey, every month pull me Amazing Spider-Man and have it ready to go at this local comic shop. You show up there every month and grab your comics and pay for them there. So it's kind of like adding the convenience of, Amazon, any kind of online ordering, to the, supporting your local comic shop that you are already doing, hopefully, when you were buying physical comics. So in theory, this is a really, really awesome thing. You'll be able to much more easily manage your pull list. The concept of a pull list will hopefully be more supported across the board at all the various comic shops across the country. And you'll still be going in locally, supporting your brick and mortar comic shop. Everyone should be happy. However, a lot of comic stores are maybe not the happiest with Diamond in general. Anytime a company has a monopoly, they can kind of call the shots. They get to sort of do whatever they want. And because of that, a lot of comic shops don't really like having to, do all of the things that Diamond says. They have some interesting policies in terms of like return books that don't sell. And of course, with comics, their sales kind of being on the decline right now, that's more and more of an issue. There's also the big case with Pullbox here that we don't know what the cost is going to be on the retailer side. So we know when it comes to customers using Pullbox, it'll be free. Of course, they want you to get on the site and spend money and pre-order all these books. But on the customer site, this is a website, it's cloud-based, it's a service they're going to be providing. It seems as if there's going to be some sort of a fee associated with a comic shop buying in and using Pullbox, which is a huge problem, right? A comic shop which already isn't making a ton of money on the books they sell aren't necessarily going to want to cut Diamond in again on the sale of those books in whatever form that might take. Whether it's a flat fee or a percentage of books sold through the Pullbox service, no matter what, that's going to be kind of a bummer if that's how it ends up working. It's also going to be a problem if there is some sort of substantial fee with a comic shop from using Pullbox, because then comic shops might just not buy in. So, it still is going to be the same problem we have now. Every different comic shop having a completely different system for their pulls and for their pre-orders, and customers not really knowing what that system is. So, optimistically, this system can really fix ordering physical comics from your local comic shop. But in reality, there's still some hurdles that have to be overcome in order to make this really the system that it needs to be. So here's hoping that that's where we get to, but we won't really know until we know more about the details of this Pullbox system, what the UI looks like, and what the details of the deal on the back end are as well. So that's going to do it for Pretty Dece for today, talking about Diamond Comics' new Pullbox system. Again, cautiously optimistic about the entire thing. Make sure that you like Pretty Dece on Facebook, facebook.com/PrettyDeceShow. Follow me on Twitter @PrettyDeceShow, and visit PrettyDeceShow.com. As always, make sure you are subscribed to the YouTube channel, to the podcast, and in the Anchor app so you never miss any of the content.